Hello everyone, I am Imran Ali, Assistant Professor, Department of MBA, Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology in Greater Noida. This is lecture 33, Unit 4, in which I am going to discuss about demand forecasting in supply chain. So, I will be discussing about different methods of demand forecasting, some of them like simple moving averages, weighted moving averages and exponential smoothing method. Demand forecasting is a tool to scientifically predict the likely demand of a product in future course of time. So, demand forecasting is essential with respect to the supply chain, because we must be knowing that what are the demand pattern for future course of time, or what and how the demand it is going to be in future course of time, and accordingly various activity into the supply chain can be ensured related the conversion of operations of converting raw material into output, various distribution activity, various storage facilities, or sourcing of raw material from our supplier, coming into agreement with the supplier, and so many things that can be do with respect to our supply chain management. But for doing all of them, it is important for the business organization to know what is the exact demand going to be into future course of time. So, there are several sector or several industries which consistently keep on adopting various methods of demand forecasting. Some of them adopt qualitative method of demand forecasting, and several organization adopt quantitative method of demand forecasting like regression analysis. It could be moving averages, it could be time series analysis, it is exponentially smoothing method, and several other could be adopted. So, the objectives of the demand forecasting is we should be knowing exact pattern of the demand, or in future course of time what preferences of the consumer going to be in future, so that company now can plan for and they can be ready that how many products are going to be into demand, what will be the requirement of the raw material, and how the storage and distribution services are going to be into demand. So, the demand forecasting need to be taken into place, whereby company can know about the right number of volume of output. I mean to say how many units are going to be into demand. So, probably today all automobile companies are very much concerned about electrical vehicle. Its probable demand in India going to be into the next 5 years, and they want to come up with their new plant or modification into the existing plant, so that the electrical vehicle manufacturing capacity can be ramp up or it can be increased. Why all of them are interested to increase this electrical manufacturing capacity? Because there is a probability or there are likely chances that adoption for electrical vehicle in India, it is going to be at a faster pace. So, once this pace is going to be increased exponentially, then the demand forecast or other manufacturing or other activity into supply chain management will take accordingly. So, this is one area that all automobile companies are concerned about, and demand for it is likely to be increased, or the demand of for it is likely to be positive. It is gas or it is renewable. It is the name of the company also Renew. So, this gas based transportation or gas based manufacturing or gas based activities are going to increase, because the India focus is, or the government of India want that our transportation increasingly should shift toward gas based transportation. So, at present it is 6%. The target of the government of India for the next few years, it need to shift to 15% 6% and further we will keep on increasing. Similarly, it is about renewable energy, it is about solar energy, it is about wind energy, it is about hydro, bio. This demand is also likely to be increased because the attitude of the consumer or adoption by the consumer for these items, it is going to be positive and the consumer is having a positive probability. So, now if the scenario for these industry which I am discussing about, if it seems positive and consumers are planning to invest more or to purchase these items more heavily, now company had to plan about their capacity, now companies has to plan for their capex. It is capital expenditure. Capital expenditure incurred for long span of time, and capital expenditure is made by organization once they are sure about that the demand for their product is going to be long lasting in future. So, this tendency will be a long lasting feature in the organization and the capex need to be there. Next, it is about for appropriate pricing, understanding the demand scenario and probability of demand in the years to come. Company can strategize, company can think of that what kind of pricing strategy they are going to adopt. Either the company are going for having the premium pricing, or they are going to have penetration pricing, or they are going to adopt the skimming pricing or psychological pricing and the several other method of pricing. But this which one need to be adopted out of these depend on the probability or likelihood of demand for their product. Next, it is about the for future expansion of its business depending on the demand scenario. If it is positive or negative, company may plan for the new plant, new service outlet, new businesses that they can establish. So, that expansion can be planned by the organization. Recently, both McD and Burger King both have announced that they are going to add more number of outlet in the years to come, since they feel that the demand for these items is likely to increase. Again, it is certain chemical companies, especially into the agriculture, or IFCO, NFL, Nagarjuna fertilizer, they are increasing their capacity for fertilizers because the demand in future course of time it is likely to increase. So, in set of industries or set of businesses wherever the demand is expected to be very high, company had to plan now that how many number of the volumes are going to be there. Today we have seen COVID-19 and their negative impact also on some of the businesses or industry, especially it is aviation and Indigo, Paramount, the Air Asia, Vistara, Air India and several other organization, their operation it is impacting negatively because the passengers are not willing to move from one place to another very. Now, their expansion plan will not be there, or company will not try to add new manpower, company will not try to add new aircraft into their fleet, because the demand scenario for the near future or mid term it is not very positive. Similarly, it is about multiplexes also, either it is Inox laser or it is PVR or other entertainment services, it's not seems very positive. So, might be PVR or the Inox laser, they may not decide go for any expansion or adding certain multiplexes because the demand scenario may not seems very positive. But on the other hand, opposite of the Inox laser and PVR cinema, if you say Balaji Telefilms or it is Netflix, Hotstar, other Amazon Prime Video, these companies growth or business is likely to increase exponentially. it heavily going to increase because of the present scenario and digitization or digitization movement into Indian market. So, it is how the demand scenario is looks very positive. So, they have to plan in a different way, unlike aviation companies or PVR or Inox Laser. All financial technologies companies like Paytm, PhonePe, Google Pay, the Bharat Pay or several organization, digital adoption or digital payments are likely to increase. As per one of the statistics or data of National Payment Corporation of India, in India every month approximately 2 billion transactions are happening every month approximately. So, these transactions are consistently increasing, consistently happening. So, we need to just we need to just ensure ourselves that this tendency is increasing gradually, or digital payment or online payment, and this is likely to increase. Byju's, which is into the online education, we have seen the Byju's, its business has increased exponentially. It is approximately about 3 billion valuation it is having. The company it is doing remarkable job, and it is because they are very optimistic with Indian market or other market that the demand it is going to be high in future course of time. Recently they have acquired Akash Educational Services for 1 billion. They have acquired Whitehead Junior into the coding. It is one area where Byju's expect that the demand it is going to be very high. They have acquired one company from USA into educational gaming. So, that is going to be one area. So, this Byju's, or it is Unacademy, or it is Topper, or it is Vedantu, or it is Upgrade, or it is Udemy, these are the various companies who are having huge possibilities or opportunities for growing into this online education or online learning space, and they can plan accordingly since they identified that there is a more possibility of growth. So, I just draw two scenario where organization has possibility of higher growth. So, their plan is going to be different. On the other way around, there is a scenario which is very negative and grim, and there is no possibility and there are no chances that the demand for this item it is going to be positive. We can see as of now how badly the hospitality industry is being impacted negatively. One of the arm of the Oya hospitality has gone into NCLT. All restaurants are being badly impacted. So, all around there is a for these services is a negativity. Objective of the demand forecasting, it is what? The one of the objective of the demand forecasting is formulating production policy, helps in estimating the requirement of raw material in future, human resource requirement, and maximum utilization of the resources. So, those organizations who expect that their demand it is going to be high, they will be estimating or they will be making itself ready that they will be needing more number of manpower, more employees they will be needing. They need to have higher raw material or more raw material would be required, because the scenario is for their businesses positive and their businesses are likely to be increased. So, the demand forecasting will assist or help the company to plan that what they will be needing in future course of time, considering the demand scenario for them into future course of time. I discuss about power companies, that demand for them is likely to increase, demand for the fertilizer companies are likely to increase exponentially in the years to come, demand for the steel manufacturers will be very high in the years to come, cement demand will be more in the years to come because infrastructure is going to be focus area. So, these are several sector that have the positivity with respect to their demand, and organization operating in these sector or the industry need to add their capacity accordingly. Next, it is about formulating price policy. Policy had to be taken the organization as per demand scenario. Either company will keep the premium pricing, skimming pricing, penetration pricing, and pricing has also to be kept seeing the prevailing business scenario in the economy. Next, it is about deciding the production capacity. Production capacity, it is what maximum capacity that a company have to produce the goods. This maximum capacity is likely to be increased if demand is positive, demand is likely to increase. Company may reduce or may produce less than the capacity if they observe or they see in future demand it is not likely to increase. So, the companies will decide, companies will be acquiring some other companies just when they feel that there is a possibility of increment or demand positivity is there. If we say in steel industry, almost all companies are crazy to add their capacity considering or realizing demand for the steel is going to be high. Tata Steel has acquired Bhushan, the JSW has also acquired a company recently, Neelanchal Ispat Nigam Limited. Lot of companies are crazy to acquire this particular company because they want to add the capacity of the steel manufacturing, because demand it is likely to be high. Ultratech Cement has acquired certain plant of other companies just to add the capacity because they feel the demand it is going to be high. So, decision either to add the capacity or not to add the capacity goes on demand scenario in future course of time. Next, it is about planning long term activity. Plan to invest in various expansion and development project in long term. So, the decision to invest in expansion or various development project depends on the probability of return and the growth in the industry and what kind of trends is likely to be prevailing into that particular area. By and large, there are two methods of demand forecasting. First, it is quantitative method and second qualitative method. Quantitative method, we use some statistics, we have some data, and based on this data we are going to do forecast. So, with the availability of the present data, we are going to make some forecast for future course of time, and we will try to analyze whether the demand scenario for the company is going to be remain positive or negative. Next, it is about qualitative method. Here no data it is going to be used, it will be only opinion. We will be measuring only opinion of the consumer. So, it is the qualitative method. Companies use either of them or at time blending them, but statistical measures are more relevant and more in demand. So, qualitative method, it is consumers opinion survey. We can develop a questionnaire or we can take interview, we can just observe them and decide that how they think about for the demand, what is the possibility or probability that they will continue to buying our product or the product of the company. Next, it is about sales forecast composite. Sales for composite forecast composite is what? Sales force from similar industry. We will pick a few professionals from steel and try to measure what is the demand scenario for steel. We will take up certain professional from power sector and ask them and try to gauge and measure their opinion into power sector, how it is likely to increase. Next, it is about the group discussion. Group discussion, it is we will take few people, ask them to give their opinion and put forth, so that organization can plan accordingly. It is Delphi technique. We will take certain professional, will ask them to fill certain structure questionnaire, and there will be 2-3 round on that, and later on it will be observed that what are the different dimension or factor on which all of them are agree. Next, it is market simulation, hypothetically laboratory simulation or software. We will try to understand the demand scenario. Next, it is about test marketing on a limited geography for a limited period of time. We are doing just test marketing to check whether our product do have some fault or defect or not, or it can be launched throughout India. Now, there are some quantitative methods also which are used for regression analysis or for demand forecasting. So, regression analysis is one of them. Now, regression analysis is it is depend A plus B x. It is how the equation goes, y is equal to A plus B x. Y is what? It is our dependent variable, and it is x, it is what? It is our independent variable. So, value or forecast of y depend on x. As and when there will be some changes in the valuation of x, the valuation of y is also likely to be changed. So, we are into regression analysis. We are having two variable, it is dependent variable and independent variable, and depend outcome or value of dependent variable is depend on independent variable values. So, here we had taken data for 7 year 2001 to 2007, and for the simplicity we take it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it is our factor x. Then sales in these year have been taken in this column and it is taken as y. Now, sum these and take its mean. So, summation it is 28 and we can take mean 28 divided by 7. Here the sum it is about 917. So, we can take the sum 907 divided by 7. It is the x square. So, we had taken the value of the x square, it is 140, and then x and y is being multiplied, and here the sum of the x and y it is 3961. So, both of them are coming into use, or they both are useful. So, what we need? We will calculate mean for x, mean for y, a and b will be calculated, and then we will calculate how it is going to be measured. So, as I just said, x bar it is 28 divided by 7. So, mean it is 4, it is 907, it is 131. Since it is y is equal to a plus b x, and y it is dependent and x it is independent, but we also need to know the value of a and b. So, to calculate b, we will be using the formula summation of x y minus n x bar y bar upon summation of x square minus n x bar ka square, and we will be putting this value over here, summation of x y, and this is how 10.46 came. Now, b value it is 10.46, and we are supposed to calculate again a, that is y bar minus b x bar. So, it is 131, it is here, it is b that we have calculated here 10.46 multiply by it is x bar, that is 4, and it is how 89.16 has came. So, we are having a and b valuation, we put into the this equation y is equal to a plus b x. A it is 89.96 plus b it is 10.46. Now, x is what? The year for which forecasting is to be made. So, we are having data for 7 year, our forecasting is to be made for 8th year. We will multiply by this 8 and it is about 172.84. So, the probability or forecasting for the 8th year is, it is 172.84. So, this is how demand forecasting can be done through the regression analysis, and it is a very widely used method for demand forecasting. Next, it is about the simple method or simple moving averages, where we will be doing, we will add 3 months, it is 10 plus 12 plus 13 divided by 3, we got this. Then we will add next 3, then we will next 3, and like so on, it will keep on happening and we will keep on adding them to. Next, it is about the weighted moving averages. Here weighted moving averages, I mean to say all data it is not same, recent data will be giving more weightage and old data will be giving least weightage. So, here the recent data for 3 months it is March, so the weightage is 3, Feb it is 2 and Jan it is 1. So, it is 3 multiplied by 13 plus 2 multiplied by 12 plus 10 multiplied by 1 and divided by 6, not 3, because the division had to be taken by weightage, and this data will came, or the weighted moving average will came into existence. Next, it is exponential smoothing method. For exponential smoothing method, the formula it is going to be used as previous forecast plus alpha actual minus previous forecast. This is the formula that is going to be used in exponential smoothing method. Now, we have to say here the data has to be kept or used of the previous year. The data has to be kept for the previous year. So, in for example, we are calculating over for this second year. So, the previous year forecasted value is, it is 410 plus how much the value of alpha, it is 0.3. What is the actual? It is 450 minus 410. So, it will come 422. It is 422. So, we subsequently everywhere in exponential smoothing method, this formula is going to be used, previous forecast plus alpha AC actual minus previous forecast. So, we can use this in every stages. Similar, we can find by using the same formula, we can find this value on different alpha value 0.7, 0.5, 0.3. So, it was all about demand forecasting, and these were the certain quantitative and qualitative method which are used for demand forecasting, that we can use into demand forecasting. Thank you so much.